Hey yo, I'm April. This is All Life Yoga. You just clicked on a really sweet 30-minute yoga practice of not only some really great movement, but I've also got a soundtrack made up for you. There's a YouTube playlist, and I'll put a link for it and all the info. It'll be in the description, and I'll give you a cue and a link to click a little bit later. I have a lot of sweat happening right now. It's really, really hot. Oh my gosh. And I have a backyard of a lot of dead things, including a garden that I planted. I thought I would plant all of these like veggies and some berries and herbs, and yeah, they're all gone. I think part of the reason, not only because of how dry and how hot it's been, was because I planted them in very shallow like drawers, like old dresser drawers. It was repurposing. They couldn't grow deep roots. And they couldn't be able to, draw enough nutrients from not having enough roots. And even though I watered all the time, the plants, I think, overheated because there wasn't enough for them to get down into the earth, to get down into exactly what they needed in order to be able to grow, in order to withstand the challenges of the heat and evaporating of water. Metaphors, huh? Laying deep roots. I'm doing a lot of work in my own practice with making sure that I'm really using the pressure of my strength against the floor. Equal and opposite reactions, right? Every time you push, something's pushing against you. So we have to not only push into the floor, but push like beneath the floor. Really deep motion of working downwards and feeling the growth that comes from it. And also, interesting tree tidbit. The biodomes, that whole idea that they were trying to colonize space in like the 80s, the biodome trees were dying. Plenty of roots, I imagine, but they were discovering that one of the biggest problems they were having was that there was no wind. There was nothing to challenge the growth of the trees so that they could build their hardwood and be able to withstand struggle and to really, grow strong and large and have long, lengthy tree lives. So sometimes things in yoga are really, really hard. There's some wind, but it's worth it because when we come through that, we've grown our hardwood. We have experienced through our practice, through our meditation, through looking inwards and working hard in our own bodies and in our own minds in order to be able to deal with the hard things that come off of our mat, because they do, right? I think any of us who have been practicing yoga for any length of time will often notice that there are times in which our practice has really enabled us to deal with the practice of life a little bit more effectively. So yeah, roots, we'll root stuff, we'll move stuff, we'll do some hard things. And this soundtrack, we're going to click right here. Oh man, mirrored things. So right here, right here is a playlist. And when you click here, it's going to open up in another window, and you click play there, and then music plays while you're practicing with me. And we're going to, this is apparently my dog who has decided to come through the barrier that I placed for him. He's going away before we're practicing, but yeah. So clicked here, right? Gonna leave me lots of comments. You made sure to subscribe while you were clicking through all of this stuff, and ready to go practice. Meet me on the mat. So we're going to begin this deep rooting practice by pushing downwards beyond the floor. So not even just feeling that you're connecting with the floor, but as if you could lay roots energetically down below it. So spreading the fingertips out so that there's lots of roots to move outwards, and then pushing down right from the center of each arm, from the center of each armpit. And you can see that I get this lift away from the floor, and you should start to feel that as well. You're going to keep this root moving downwards energetically through the center of your palms and through all those spread out fingertips. And then start to take some cat and cow. And as you do so, breathing in and lifting your chest forward, exhaling, feel how that root is really lifting up the back of your heart. A couple more times. Inhaling to cow, exhaling cat. Giving a little bit more range of motion the more that you go, and not losing those roots, not letting yourself get lazy about it. One more round. And then coming back into your table, we're going to curl the toes under and press back to the top of the plank, of your plank, your body's plank. Feeling that your chest is moving forward, like the front side of your body is sliding towards the front of your mat, and then feel the back side of your body sliding towards the back end of your mat, the backs of your heels, the tailbone, the shoulder blades. And then we're going to move everything forward. Keep rooting down, breathe in, and then lower all the way down onto the floor. Your knees might go first, or you could be a little bit more strong with it. Then untuck your toes, maybe wiggle them back a little bit so the fronts of your thighs are open, and take your arms back behind you. Spread your toes out, push the tops of the feet down into the floor, use the glutes, and stretch your knuckles back towards your heels. So you should feel some lift of your thighs away from the floor, but keep pushing the toes down. And one more breath in, stretching out the chest, and then exhale, lower down. We're going to take the hands back by the low ribs and come up, Bhujangasana or Cobra pose. Think more serpent, stretching forward rather than trying to push up, especially at the expense of the crunching of the shoulders. And we're going to spread the toes out, keep pushing the left foot down, take the right leg up and lower, push the right foot down, take the left leg up and lower. Another time. Exhale, keep rooting down into that other foot, the one that you're not lifting, because that's going to help to create more contact, more energy going on in the body, making us work just a little bit harder through the other leg. Finish up this round, lifting up the left side and setting it down. Now curl the toes underneath. You're going to tuck your hips up just a little bit. And I'm not tucking my tailbone up, I'm tucking the front of my pelvis up. I'm going to squeeze the arms in. And you can take the knees up off of the floor. It's much harder that way. But try with your knees on the floor to push down beyond the floor and lift up away from it, up into plank pose. And from here, coming back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and adjust your feet until you feel that they're in just about the right space to feel a long stretch to the backs of your legs. Wiggle things out, shake your head around. And then pay attention to what's going on in your roots. In your palms spreading out right from the center of the arm down beyond the floor. And the backs of your heels extending. Not that the backs of your heels are touching the mat. Most of us come nowhere near that. But energetically reaching down beyond the floor and feeling that pull the backs of the thighs towards the back wall behind you and lifting up through the hips. And deep breath in. Deep breath out. Then push again into your palms, just like you were coming up into cat pose. So you're going to roll through the spine and come forward into the top of your plank. Then on your exhale, rolling upwards, hollowing out the belly. And at the last moment, as you come back to downward facing dog, relaxing down through the root of the heels. Inhale, rolling up, open spine, open chest coming forward into plank. And then exhale, lifting that belly button at the very last moment. The tail points up, the heels drop, downward dog. Again, inhale, rolling through to plank pose, but opening up the chest when you get there. Exhale, starting with the belly button, downward dog. One more time. Inhaling plank. Exhaling, downward facing dog. And from here, lower the knees down and go ahead and sit back on your heels. Walk the fingertips over towards the right edge of your mat and feel your left hand pull out to stretch out the back of your arm. And then moving over towards the left edge of your mat, feel that side stretch again, reaching out longer through the right side this time. And then coming back into the center. I'm going to come forward onto the belly. And once again, try that pushing the floor away action, that rooting down so that you lift up. So curl the toes under, lift the hips, then the thighs. Tuck up the front of your pelvis. You can take your chin to your chest if that helps. You're going to push upwards to the top of your plank. And then back in the downward facing dog. And wiggle it out a bit. Feel that root moving down from the center of your palms. And deep breath in. Deep breath out. Looking forward. Stepping your feet up to the front of your mat. Inhale. Long spine, chest forward, rooting down and towards your feet. Exhale, complete the folds. Inhale, rooting down into your feet, reaching up to standing. Exhaling, bringing the hands together at your heart. Sun salutation A, deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Old faithful here. Flat back, stretching forward. Plant the hands, stepping back to the top of your plank, rooting right away, palms spread out, and then lifting forward, exhaling down halfway. Inhale, heart comes forward, up dog. Exhale, downward dog, lifting the tail, dropping the heels, pushing the palms beyond the floor. And one more breath. Deep exhale, deep roots, and then looking forward, bringing the feet back up to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding down, standing all the way up, open arms. And then exhale, hands come down into your heart. Lift up again, deep breath in. Exhale, folding forward. And then stretch the chest forward. Take your hands down, step your left leg back, lower the knee. And now feel yourself pushing down into the front foot and how this is going to bring your right hip back and start with the fingertips on the inside of the leg. So you're going to feel this forward motion in the lunge. We're going to do something a bit different, some deep hip work by pushing down into that front foot. And see how my hip draws back. Keep pushing into the big toe. Walk your fingertips out in front of you. So the root here is in that front foot. Everything else is just extending and growing outwards. And then take your hands back in. I'm going to plant the hands down. Curl the left toes under. Stretch that right leg all the way back up in the air. And then set it down. And take the left leg behind you. Look forward. Step the left foot up. Lower the right knee down. And you can see a little bit more on this side. So there's a tendency to let the hip move out to the side. You want to push down in the front foot so that that hip draws in, so that the thigh bones are coming into the pelvis. Walk the fingertips out in front of you, dropping the head. Soft neck, strong left foot, deep exhale, and then walking the hands back. And curl the right toes under. You're going to send the left leg up and back, and then set it down, downward facing dog. Moving from here forward into the top of your plank, forward still, down chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, lifting that belly, lifting that tailbone, dropping the heels, down dog. Now spread out your hands, spread out the roots in your arms, and relax the left heel to the floor. You're going to use all of this downward motion into these roots to feel the right leg lifting up without moving the hips and shoulders. And then keeping that leg and that hips and shoulders in line, turn your toes out towards the right toes, and then push the right heel out towards the right, and then slowly lift it back up. Exhale, push it back out. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, push it out. Try to keep the leg lifted. You're also trying to keep the left hip steady. Go ahead and turn those right toes to the floor. Replace them to the floor. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Strong in those roots. Relaxing the right heel down. Try to keep hips and shoulders steady as the left leg comes up. Turn the toes out to the left. Exhale, leg moves out to the left. Inhale, lift that heel back up. Exhale, push it out. Inhale up. Exhale out. Last time, draw that heel in, then direct the toes to the floor. Place them back down on the floor. One breath in. Deep breath out. Go ahead and lower your knees. And then roll over onto your right side. Just so I can face you to start off with. So I'm laying in a long line on my mat. My right hand's planted on the floor, and I'm rooting down through it, not just keeping it there on the floor. I'm using that connection, and then I'm pushing down into my right leg as well, taking the left leg up, and my left hand on the inside of my ankle. You can grab for your foot if you like. Oh, a little bit more inner thigh stretch that way. Now, if you stop pushing, you're going to fall over. And I stop pushing a little bit, and I'm starting to wiggle. So you really have to root your supporting side down into the floor. See if you can open the knee up, maybe lift up a little bit more through the chest, and then straighten that leg out and stretch it all the way down. Whew. Also hard, both legs together. And you're going to roll over to the other side. I'm just going to switch this way for obvious reasons. So you're going to lay long line, palm, outer edge of the foot, taking your top leg in, holding the inside of your leg. That's going to be so that you're going to open the inner thigh and feel the hips, the heart lifting forward. And keep pressing that left hand, that left outer foot down. And then you're going to release the leg. Fingertips can touch for balance because you're going to reach long through that right heel all the way down onto the floor. And then go ahead and roll yourself up. Plant the hands, step back, make your way back into downward facing dog. And inhale, move the right leg back, turn the toes out, move the leg out to the side. Inhale, stretching the right leg back behind you, look forward, step the right foot up to the front of your mat. You're going to turn the left heel down like warrior one, legs pushing down into the front foot, and much like where we just came from, you're going to hammock the spine out, stretching long through the arms, no weight in the fingertips, just for balance. All of the rooting is going down from that right foot. And then walking yourself over towards the side of your mat, turn all 10 toes that way, straight legs, prasarita with a twist, just kind of opening that inner right thigh. And then taking both hands down, walk yourself back to the front of the mat, turn the toes forward, come up on your left toes, push down into the floor, root all the way down there, and come up high lunge. From here, opening up into warrior two, dropping the back heel and lifting the front of that thigh, moving the right knee forward. Straightening into the front leg, triangle pose as you lift out over strong legs with soft hips. And deep breath in. Exhale, take the hands down. We're coming into standing split. So you're going to push your right foot down so far into the floor that the left leg just floats. And really focus on not just putting the weight there, but putting the weight beyond the floor. Pushing all the way down, deep roots. And then setting the left foot down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding forward. Stand all the way up. Breathe in. Rooting the feet to the floor. Exhaling, hands into the heart. Inhale, stretching upwards. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, long spine, stretching the chest forward. Plant the hands. Step back to the top of your plank. From plank pose, moving forward, rooting palms to the floor. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, belly button lifts, tail lifts, heels drop down, dog. Strong hands, even hips and shoulders, left leg goes up, toes go out, leg goes out. Inhale, heel comes back, look forward, step the left foot up, and turn your right heel down. Warrior one legs, which means that that left knee stays facing forward. You're pushing down on the foot so that the left thigh bone is pulling in towards the right thigh bone. There's some deep rotation, deep inner hip work as you relax the back of your neck so you're not putting tension someplace else. And then walking the fingertips over towards the right, all 10 toes towards this long side of the mat, straight legs, right arm opens up right from the armpit, deep open twist. And then taking both hands down, walking back to the front of your mat, so set up your legs in this lunge, root down through strong feet, and lift up. A nice open heart, soft shoulders, high lunge. Keep lifting up the front of your right thigh as you open up into warrior two, pushing down into the front foot, front big toe. And then straightening both legs, lift out and over your left thigh, triangle pose. Strong feet, strong legs, opening the spine, opening the hips. Exhale, both hands come down. And it could be one step, it could be 20 steps, really doesn't matter, but get that right leg up in the air by pushing the left foot down beyond the floor. And then notice I'm not coming forward with my weight on my hands, all the weight is on my right foot. Dropping the head and then dropping the right foot down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands down into your heart. So, naturally, we're going to do tree pose. We're going to start off on the right leg is the standing leg, bringing the left leg up. So wherever you want to put your left foot, and whatever you want to do with your hands, if you like having them open or extending your branches, you can. I kind of like having the palms together because I like reconnecting with this idea of an expansive, open, strong chest by pressing the palms together and feeling the collarbones open up. Now focus on your legs. Rooting down through your standing leg, your right leg is your trunk, but also feel the connection of this left leg branch pushing into the trunk. And look at that, growing outwards from it. You should feel some inner thigh some back of the thigh, a little bit of glute going on. And you're going to keep this leg nice and open, nice and active, toes and knee facing out to the side as you move into half moon. So you're going to keep lifting the outside of the left foot. You might bend into the right leg a little bit. Keep pushing that big toe down though. Keep rooting strong. And now grow up through the left armpit. Half moon. And from here, you're going to stretch that left leg all the way back, coming into warrior two. Maybe scooching the front foot forward a little bit more if you have more space. Now reach out beyond that front leg, coming on the inside of the leg, side angle. And then taking the left arm behind your back, taking the half line, lifting up and opening the chest. And deep breath in, deep breath out. Keep pushing into the right big toe. You might take your hand up onto your shin. We're going into triangle pose. So adjust as you need. You want to get the legs straight. Doesn't matter if you have your hand on the floor. Maybe your hand's in your leg. Open the left side of your chest up towards the ceiling. And then taking both hands down. So we're going to come into lizard, which is a lunge where the body is on the inside of the leg. So I didn't take my right hand outside of my right foot. I've got it on the inside. I'm going to push down into my hands, rooting them beyond the floor, strong in the left leg. See if you can take that right leg as steady as you can without moving the rest of the body, back, hovering next to the left. So it's hovering because you're going to activate those glutes. You can move on 4 limbs or from 3 limbs down through that vinyasa. 4 limbs, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a round of breath to recover. Rooting through open, widespread hands. Deep breath in again. Exhale. At the end of your exhale, stepping your feet forward to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, folding down, standing all the way up. Open arms, relaxing the hands down at your heart. Moving through the other side, starting off in tree pose. I like to just grab that ankle and get that foot in exactly where I want it to be. Again, yours does not have to be on your thigh. Put it in the calf. Choose some place where you can feel this connection of your leg branch into your trunk. The trunk that's rooting down beyond the floor. Maybe bringing palms to heart, maybe taking some other variation, but also breathing. Right? All of those yoga cliches, man. Cliches, they're oversaid because they're true. So true. Deep breath in. Strong, open limbs, maybe a little bit bent limbs, but make them strong and long, moving into half moon. So then turning your right ribs up towards the ceiling, strong right leg, strong pinky toe. And one more deep breath in. And then reaching your right leg all the way back, coming in to warrior two, settling down through the shoulder blades, the tailbone. And then reaching out again over that long leg. Reach, 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 reach. Fingertips come down. Maybe use a block. Draw that left hip back towards the right heel, using that same function of rooting the foot down, half bind, opening the right side, open towards the ceiling. Sliding the right shoulder blade closer towards your waist. And then gently, slowly working yourself into triangle pose, pushing down into your left big toe. And keep breathing long through the back of the neck. One more inhale. And then taking both hands down, coming into that lizard lunge. From that lizard lunge, you're pushing the palms down, pushing down into the front foot, even open chest, strong back leg, taking that left leg up, hovering next to the right, using your glutes, coming forward, exhale, open chest, chaturanga, inhale, up dog, exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And go ahead and bring your knees down, and we're going to come into a forward fold. And I want you to focus on having length over your legs and having long, strong legs, which doesn't mean they have to be straight. They could be here and strong with toes uplifted, or you can stretch the legs in front of you. Wiggle your hips a bit, get rid of the flesh underneath, and then stretch the chest forward. Grab your knees, your shins, your toes, whatever you need. Long through the backs of the legs, open through the chest. And one more inhale. Exhale. And then walk the hands back up. Okay, so we're gonna take I'm gonna take my left leg up so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna take the leg right up here next to my body and reach the left arm out on the inside of the leg. And I wanna try to get armpit in front of the shin. From there, reaching that arm behind my back, like that half bind, and then pulling the right arm back. Now you can stay here. Maybe you're more like here, holding onto your ankle. But no, I've got a little bit of space in between the feet. I'm gonna keep pushing down into my left foot, opening up the right side, maybe taking the full bind. One more breath. And then go ahead and turn back to the front. Unwind your left leg, take it forward, or whatever leg you were using, and take the other side up. I've got space in between my foot and my leg, so I can take the body down on the inside of my bent thigh, and then wrapping armpit or elbow behind, turning the fingertips towards my waist. I'm gonna lift up, opening up towards the back wall, maybe holding hands, and then lifting up, little twist, looking over the back shoulder, trying to have both hips on the floor. And then my right foot's down, steady on the floor. And then come out, face forward. Unwind the legs a bit. And we're gonna move from here back into lizard pose. You can clear it out with a vinyasa in between. That's what I'll do. Or you can just come straight back into downward facing dog. So I'm gonna move forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Rooting down into the floor to feel the lift in my chest. Curling back, downward facing dog. And so take the right leg back. You're going to turn the toes out and open them up. Take a big circle, eventually bending into the right leg, taking it forward into your lizard. So you have the option of hanging out in lizard here and just watching maybe crazy things on your screen for a moment. Or you can work with me into this arm balance, this Akapada Kundanyasana. I'm going to take my right hand behind the right foot. And that's to have this space, this connection of my knee in towards my shoulder, my armpit. And then I'm gonna move the foot without moving the knee, the thigh's still in. I'm gonna wrap the left elbow in towards my chest, push out, and then root down into the floor, really lengthening outwards, using also my glutes. And then I'm gonna come back into the lizard pose, plant down in the hands, curl the left toes under, right leg goes up and back, three-legged dog, and set down, downward facing dog. Whew. So it's really hot here, and I know that wasn't awesome, but I think I'm just gonna go with it. Let's see if the left side works out any better. Stretching the left leg back. I'm gonna turn the toes out, strong hands, strong supporting legs. I bring that leg all the way out to the side, warming up that hip even more, and coming down, lizard lunge. I'm moving my hand outside of my foot so that I can slide that knee up into the upper part of my arm. And then as I take the foot out, I'm gonna take the chest forward, wrapping my right elbow in. That helps me to support, oh yeah, here we go, open chest, pushing the floor away, long legs. And then coming back into the lizard, planting the palms down, stretching back, downward dog, three-legged dog, sitting both feet down, and wiggling hips and shoulders a bit. Then go ahead and lower the knees down. And I'm gonna take myself down onto the back, bring the knees into the chest a little bit, little wiggle. And then after all of that deep work on the inside of the legs, I'm going to come out into a good back bend, arc the shoulders underneath, interlace the fingers, push the floor away. Nice long stretch to the fronts of the thighs, rooting down into those feet, breathing in, exhaling, hips coming down onto the mat. And then open the knees up, let the inner thighs relax after how hard they've worked. Letting the breath start to soften. And then rolling over onto your right side, you're gonna come up onto the right forearm. And that way you can really pull the left leg up and across the body. So you want it up nice and close towards you. Doesn't matter how far, you should just feel like the outside of your left hip is opening. I'm gonna reach back and grab for my right foot since I'm supported and I can see it there. You can also let it go after a while if that feels better to you. The left leg might move. I'm gonna come down, laying as much as I can on my back, relaxing the left shoulder to the floor, and allowing the outside of the left leg to pull outwards to kind of stretch out. It's a little bit like traction having placed the foot out there, but just kind of soften into it. And then let the right leg go, bend both legs in, roll over onto the other side, and again coming up onto the forearm, moving my right leg out there, and then holding onto the left foot. I'm going to come down. Notice my leg moves a bit. I'm going to have to wiggle into the shoulders. Right side's often a bit tighter, but the outside of the right hip is also releasing. Right shoulder, right ribs are releasing towards the floor. You might release the foot if you want to get a little bit more stretch to the front of the shoulder. It's up to you. One more breath. Exhale. And then come onto your back. Take both arms and legs up into the air. Do some wiggles around to the wrists and around the other way. A little bit of time upside down. And then release your feet onto the floor, the arms down, legs are long, shoulders walk underneath the spine. And we settle into Shavasana. It's time to surrender to the support of our mat, of the floor. Releasing at the end of our practice. Feeling the nourishment, the sweetness of all of these roots that we've laid down. Staying here as long as you can, as long as you like. Spending a good several minutes committing to this rest. And thank you for coming to lay these roots in this practice here with me today. For honoring your breath. For withstanding the wind, hopefully growing some good layers of hardwood. Namaste.